Morning. Hello, everyone. Oh, you're over there. There you are. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's vlog. My name is Adam J. Pestridge, and if you're coming in for the first time, welcome. I do this every day. There's some freebies in the description box below. My hair is an absolute mess, but there we go. Hey ho, if you pardon the pun. And yeah, doing this every day for a year, and we're almost done. Got less than 100 days left, and it'll end just after I come back from New York in April. So can't wait for that. So today, what are we talking about? Well, we're all talking about the PS5 because I can feel something's coming in my bones. Oh yeah, baby. So Sony have a lot of venues scattered out throughout the world. Let me just put it back on that screen. There we go. Sony have a lot of venues scattered throughout the world, and they recently said that well, not they recently said, this is a few weeks back, they said they weren't going to go to the E3. And they were pulling out of the larger events, and they were hosting more smaller, intimate ones scattered throughout the ages. Now, everybody thinks that there's going to be some sort of announcement because there's an event, right? The reason people think this is there's an event, Sony Hall in New York City, right? They host all sorts of events. In fact, on the 28th of February, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12 premieres, in their hall. And, you know, in March, they've got loads of, they've got a Netflix comedy special there. There's a big country television event happening. I mean, they've got different types of horses for courses, right? But in February, and they do have this scattered throughout March and April. In fact, here is their schedule. Right? Oh, there we go. That's the website, right? So this is the Sony Hall, right? Showing, and it's got February, March, and it scatters down to April, and you can see literally for the full year. And as you'll notice, there's a couple of pictures that keep repeating here, and it says closed for private event. And there's loads of them, absolutely loads of them, right? Scattered throughout the year. I mean, all the way up, in fact, if we go skip to the end, see, they're just scattered throughout. Who's booking in December that far out? My gosh, right? 6 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 p.m. They're just scattered through almost every month, except for June. After the summer, it's dead. There's no private, you know. And I guess these private events, let me put you back down here. I guess these private events are, I mean, people who don't want to advertise. I don't know. It's a bit weird that it says private event and doesn't give you any details, because it gives you the details of every other booked event, which I'm assuming is almost like a private event, but I don't know. It's anyway, so there's one that's booked in for the 29th of February, and you can contact them for private event inquiries. And the hall, this is what it looks like. There's a bigger picture there of what the actual Sony Hall looks like. And I'll tell you, that looks big enough to host a reveal event, you know, for the PlayStation 5. And everybody thinks that this is where it's going to be happening, February the 29th. Now, I think the reason, this is like an educated guess, I think the reason people are thinking this is purely because, you know, when the PlayStation 4 launched, it was in February, it was the 21st, and we've only had a small little reveal, early February, I think it was, or late January, where it was just a logo, and guys, this is coming, and, you know, SSD, 3D sound, and a couple of other little tidbits, but no actual sort of, okay, guys, you know, this is the date, this is the price, this is what it looks like, nothing like that yet. And usually, like when they did it with the PlayStation 4, you know, they had Mark Cerny on the stage, and it was a massive event, and you actually got to see the controller, and you got to see him playing some games, and you got to see the console, and loads of clips from games as well. And people are speculating that this is when it's going to happen, February the 29th. That's what that private event is for. 7 p.m. it starts. So that's like... Today's the 25th. That's like 4 days away. So we are 4 days away from a possible reveal of the PlayStation 5. So I thought this would be a good time to go back and you know, have a think about something, because I find this a bit weird myself. So, Gran Turismo, great game. I absolutely love them. I've got them somewhere. I've got 5 and 6. I've got Gran Turismo 1 and 2 on the PlayStation, the first PlayStation. I've got Gran Turismo 3, I think, and 4 on the PlayStation 2. I've got Gran Turismo 5 and 6 for the PlayStation 3, and I've got Gran Turismo Sport on the PS4. Now, I only realized this last night. Every console, apart from the PS4, has had 2 releases of the Gran Turismo game. PlayStation 1 had 1 and 2, the first 2. You know, PlayStation 2 had the A-Spec 3 and number 4, both awesome games. I think I remember playing number 3 to death. And then, of course, the PS3 has had 5 and 6. And these are the numbers, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, have been fully fledged games, like massive games. And, you know, when it first came out on the PS4, we had Sport. Not 7, it was Sport. And it was really like a watered down version. It was just like concentrating on sporty type cars. The online mode was really enforced. You know, you could play online. And if you head over to their website, in fact, I mean, they have got like a list of every Gran Turismo game that they've done with the artwork there. It's pretty cool, like, to have a look at. And then it goes up to the current sport version, and they actually host championships, right? And I watched one of these championships on YouTube the other day, right? And I swear to God, it's exactly like a Formula One or NASCAR event. Like, you're watching it as if you were watching it on TV from, like, you know, the camera that they're filming it from. I don't know how they've done this, right? There must be like a spectator mode that I am unaware of. There was an update back in December. It looked really awesome, but there was an update back in December. And you know what? I might have to boot up Gran Turismo again, because some of the updates here, like, I didn't know there was. I mean, I knew there was an update because my PlayStation went, "Hey, you got an update," but I didn't have a look at see what it was or anything. But here, this is a list of the contents that came in the updates. So there were 7 new cars, right? And a few more tracks. And some of the cars, you had the Ford GT, right? Which, that looks pretty cool, right? Head over to the website. The Porsche 911, that was added, guys, like the old retro one. And looking at it, mate, honestly, it looks like a real car. It doesn't look like they've put stills of the game in. It looks like they've actually got real cars and, you know, put them in. It looks really good. You got Toyota Crown Athlete, a Volkswagen Golf. Like, these are just average cars driving around the town with. But basically, these were cars that you featured in Gran Turismo 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But we never saw them in sport. We only had the real high-powered ones, the sporty ones. Renault Sport Megane, Dodge Charger, you know, and a couple of raceways and events added as well. So it's like, oh, this might be worth revisiting back on the PlayStation in a game. So I might do that later. But looking over the history of Gran Turismo, you know, and obviously, if you've gotten this far in the video, you know exactly what Gran Turismo is. It's a bit late now to do, here is what this is. But, I mean, Gran Turismo, as I say, like, had two games come out on every single console. But we've only had one for the PlayStation 4. So if the PlayStation 5 is coming out, which, I mean, it's coming out this probably November or October, later in the year, it says holiday 2020. And the fact that we haven't had the announcement yet for anything means I don't think it's coming this summer, guys. Like, it would be awesome if it was, but Jim Ryan, who is the head of Sony, or the head of the PlayStation, you know, Sony group, has stated that the launch of the PS5 is going to be a lot like the launch of the PS4. PS4 came out in November, you know, and it was advertised first in February, and then you had the run-up throughout the summer. And that is what it's probably going to be like for the PlayStation 5, unless they're going to do a sneaky and surprise everybody in the summer with, boom, here it is. Go get it, guys. But I think it's going to be November, which means, like, the Gran Turismo 7, which is the next Gran Turismo in the series, and you know, even the people who make Gran Turismo have stated, yes, they're working on the next version of Gran Turismo. It's going to go back to what the series used to be, rather than concentrating on a particular element of the series. It's going to go back to all the cars that you had in the past, and it's going to be a big epic. And they want to try and they're really trying to push to get it on 240 frames per second at 4K, moving up to 8K when that becomes available. So, I mean, that'd be that mental if that would. I mean, that would literally look like real life that you were driving in. I mean, what is it now? The Crew 2, that looks like real life. When you, if you put that on the TV, that looks really good. So, I mean, Gran Turismo is famous for great looking graphics, like really high quality, you know, no damage to the vehicles, but really high quality graphics and physics of the cars themselves. So Gran Turismo 7 is going to be a massive thing when it comes out. But looking at the history of the series and the consoles, we should get it on the PlayStation 4 first before it launches on the PlayStation 5. I mean, none of the games have ever been compatible with another edition. Like, I can't play Gran Turismo 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the PlayStation 4. I can't play Gran Turismo 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2. And I can't play, you know, Gran Turismo 3 and 4 on the PlayStation 3. So this Gran Turismo 7, right, if it was to come out on the PS4, well, actually, yeah. I mean, I was just about to say it means that you wouldn't be able to play it on the PS5, but Sony themselves have already stated that the PS5 is backwards compatible with the PS4, which means you can play PS4 games on your PS5. Obviously, you can't play PS5 games on your PS4. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe you'll be able to, you know. Maybe the actual reveal of the PlayStation, the next generation PlayStation, is they're just going to update everyone's PS4, and it's going to become the PS5. They're going to, like, unlock everybody's PS4, and it's just going to be, zoom, you've got the next latest thing, you know? I mean, yeah, I mean, you'd have to replace hardware at the end of the day, you know? But, yeah. So, Gran Turismo 7 can't, I mean, you know, for in all intents and purposes, it could come out on the PlayStation 4. You're right, Victoria? It could come out on the PlayStation 4, and then a few months later, you know, maybe even next year, or as a launch title for the PlayStation 5, released then as well. Either way, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great, and I'm going to have to get back to playing some Gran Turismo Sport if the Porsche 911's on there. Like, it looks amazing, the Porsche 911. It's the old retro style, and it looks really good. So I'm definitely booting that back up later on before I go to work. Anyway, so that's the history of the Gran Turismo series. And yeah, PlayStation 5 possibly in 4 days' time. You know what I mean? Here we go. The end game. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Bye.